I got this 2010 F-150, guys. The exhaust manifolds are both cracked. I'm gonna try to show you just a tips video on what it took me to get them out. I did not get all the footage, so I'm sorry for that, but I mean, these are a bear of a job, so I just want to show you what it took me and what happened to me and how I got it apart. So I'm gonna give you the tips and what it took me. Dylan here. As a mechanical YouTuber, I gotta do my obligatory 5.4 manifold video. These ones here were cracked. I live in Ohio, and a buddy of mine had an avalanche and the frame was getting rusted, so he went and bought this truck. And as soon as he pulled it up to the first time I seen it, I could hear, as soon as he started it, I could hear this leaking. Just a little tick when you start it up. But this one was actually almost broken all the way around. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it was almost broken all the way around. Right through there, but I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna give you just a couple tips, tell you how I got them off. I know every job is gonna be different. I mean, it just depends. So on the driver's side, I ended up heating all the nuts. I started on the passenger side first, and I watched somebody's YouTube video. They said to try to remove the studs and nuts together. I live in Ohio. That just didn't work. I tried to remove the first one with a 1/2 inch impact, and it snapped right off. But it snapped off flush with the manifold, so I was able to put this washer and a nut on it, weld it, and I got that out. But when I went and got to the very front one on the top, it's right behind the shock tower, I just touched it and it broke off. There's that piece. When this broke off, it kind of brought me to tears. I mean, you can see it, there was a little bit still hanging on. I didn't even put a tool on it and it broke. So it was recessed, but look at that. I was able to drill a little hole in that guy, and then I drilled a little bigger hole, and I was able to get, so I was using left-handed drill bits, and my second drill bit actually started to move this stud a little bit. So then I got my extractor in there and I was able to get it out. So that's how I got those out. And then on every nut, other than those two, I heated every nut. And I'm gonna reuse the studs because they look fine underneath the nuts. There's no reason to not reuse them. That's what I'm gonna do. So, like I said, every job's different. That's just what I'm doing. This one's cracked in the same spot pretty much. Right around all the way through here. I'm gonna get some brand new nuts on the way. I'm not gonna over tighten them so I don't break them. I'm gonna get it put back together. Right now I've got about 5 hours in it. I mean, between looking at YouTube videos and being frustrated, and I've got 5 hours in it already. So just to give you an idea of what it takes to get them done. I live in Ohio, and this is not a fun job. The reason I'm making a video is because I don't want to do this job again. I really don't. Somebody says I got 5.4 manifolds I need to do, I'm going to tell them go somewhere else. I don't want to deal with it. So, since I'm doing one now, I figured I'm going to go ahead and make a video. As you can see, I took the Y pipe off, cross member out. You can see I removed the starter. There you can see I got all those, saved all those studs. They all look pretty good actually. Plenty of good threads on them. This exhaust piece fought me. I might end up removing it and welding it back on there. All right, right there you can see that top right one's broken there, guys. But I got it out, so that's awesome. All right, on this passenger side, if you raise up on the motor, by taking those two bolts out, you can raise up on the motor enough to get the manifold out from the right side. And I was able to get my 90-degree drill and fix that hole there. On the driver's side, I actually didn't have to lift it up at all. It just kind of slid out of there. It dropped down enough and slid out. You got to deal with the dipstick tubes up there. On this right side, I ended up using this 90-degree drill and a left-handed drill bit to drill that one stud out because it was right behind that shock tower up there. So, all right guys, on this side I had to cut that gasket in order to get it around that dipstick. I didn't want to fight with the dipstick, so just another little tip I did. All right guys, with the shield on the manifold and everything, I was having trouble getting it to clear the studs. So I just shortened all the top studs right above where the good threads are. Shortening them studs helped it go in there. It went right in there, guys. Just wanted to show you guys how high the motor's sitting when I got that manifold in. It's not too terribly lifted up. There you go. You can see it's in there. So I just got to put the bolt nuts on it and tighten everything up. All right, I had an issue right here. Once I got the manifold in, this heat shield wasn't clearing so I could get a bolt on there. I had to smack it with a hammer. Sometimes you got to fix shit. Just wanted to put that in there so you had a chance to check that out before you put the manifold up in there. All right, guys. I've done it. I've got both the manifolds in and tight. I've only got about 2 hours in it this morning between cleaning up the mating surfaces and putting my new studs in. Now I just got to put the downpipe studs in and then put everything back together. When I was working on this to get the old manifold nuts off, here's the tool I used. I used this short 1/4 inch ratchet with the 13 on it, because you're not going to break studs off with this thing unless you're like putting cheater pipes on it. So that's what I used to get all the nuts loose, pretty much, except for the hard to get to ones. And then I use long extensions with a wobble socket. I hope this video is helpful, guys. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, Dylan here. I got done with this F-150. It's a 2010. All of them are going to be different. I mean, for somebody to say this is how you're going to do this job, I mean, I'm in Ohio, so I got 2 bolts that broke. Maybe if you're up north, maybe all of them will break. But the way I did it was to heat as many nuts as I could get to with the torch and take them off with a 1/4 inch ratchet and a 6.13, and that did pretty good for me. So like I said, the first one I touched, I put an impact on and I broke it right off. So I don't suggest you do that. The top front right one was already broken off. It was in a bear of a spot. I had to take the 2 mount bolts off the right side, raise the motor way up, and use my 90-degree drill in order to get that drilled out and extracted. I used my left-handed drill bits. It made it way easy. I got this F-150 done, guys. It was a bear. Hope this video is helpful. Thanks for watching. Click the subscribe button if it was useful. Go and click one of them videos if you want to watch something more. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching, and on to the next one.